So I always tell people that when you are developing a product, you must have the understanding of the big picture. And when I talk about the big picture, it's not only about the product, it's about the entire process of developing it. So that means you should put yourself into the shoes of every role. Like, for example, there is a tech writer documenting the product, there is a quality engineer testing the product, there is a marketing person who is going to sell the product. So there are different roles that are involved in a product, and you must understand the function of each of these roles. And so what happens is when you are developing it, you are kind of facilitating all these roles, including quality. So you should be thinking yourself as a product manager, you should think yourself as a documentation person, you should think yourself as a quality engineer or the marketing person, and so you understand it. I mean, today, whatever I talked about is basically what I am practicing because I am trying to play those roles myself, right? So you think that you are the person who is going to understand each role, and so what happens is then you will be more putting forward your efforts to make sure that you are satisfying the requirements of each and every person, right? I think from that perspective, what you need to do is, number one, you should understand the big picture from a product perspective, from a process perspective. You should have an attitude that I should make this successful and kind of facilitate for every role that they have in the product development and launch. And so that's how you can contribute, and that's what you need to do to make sure that you can kind of achieve quality. At the end of the day, you achieve quality not only kind of meeting the functional requirements, the customer requirements, the quality requirements, I would say even sales requirements. Is it not? Unless the product sells, it is not successful. It is not of good quality, right? So that's what I would say. If there is a perfectly working umbrella but opens the wrong way, right? It has passed the quality, but it is not going to be useful for the customers, right? There won't be any sales, right? So it's like the saying, no, the operation is successful, but the patient died. It should not be that case. It should be the case where at the end of the day, the product succeeds in the market. I think that's what you need to have, understanding a big picture. And that's what I think every person has to do in the organization.
But you also talked about the ability to put in hooks and put in some test switches, etc. Do you think that is also a mentality that you have to develop to be able to probe the system, facilitate the probing of the system, and therefore ideate on those two?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason, if you go through my thought process, okay, when I'm kind of putting these probes and other things, this is primarily is a thought process that I have developed when I am trying to do a scalability testing. If it is a few, an isolated test cases that I'm running manually, I can always go and look at the log and kind of manually kind of do these things. But when I'm doing the scalability testing, that's the where I find the scale at which the things will happen. It's not possible to manually collect this data and write this one. And that's where I have put all these codes and all those things. So in my opinion, it's the attitude that matters. When you have an attitude that I want to help this guy, either it's a test engineer, documentation person, or the salesperson, whoever it is, then what I will do is I will facilitate those things to happen in the product. Okay. What will the sales guy would want to do? Sales guy wants a demo system with live data, right? Now you should facilitate that in the product. You should facilitate to kind of create scenarios so that it can be shown to the customers. I mean, you cannot expect the sales guy to kind of do it once the product is developed without any of this help from you, right? I think that is what I would say is the attitude to fulfill the role of every single person associated with the product.